Hi everyone, welcome back to Maximum Attack Rallying. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity in early January to have a little bit of a look ahead to what's coming. If you follow the channel, you will know a couple of weeks ago I did my top 5 moments of 2023, and I thought in order to try, probably in vain, to keep this relatively short and sharp, why not do the same thing for 2024? So as the new year sprawls in front of us, I'm going to go through my top 5 things to look forward to this year. I know that I know this is hard to believe, I can sometimes be guilty of being a little bit negative or critical of the sport, but I think there's lots to look forward to. Yes, I know, of course, there are lots of things we'd all like to change about rallying. Some of those things you will agree with what I think, some of them I'm sure that you won't. But I do think there is a lot of good stuff coming this year. So I just want to run through that list. And if you have any other things that you think should be on that list, you might want to add them in the comments. So I think without any further ado, let's get into it. And let's have a look at the first one. So at number 5, because we have to do the hand thing, number 5 is Kalle Rovanperä, which might seem a strange one because he's not actually doing a full season, but the reason that I've included him is because I think it's going to be fascinating to see what he does do. There's 2 elements to this. I think the first is it's going to be really interesting to see how he approaches the rallies that he does, whether he just shows up and goes hell for leather or whether he takes a more measured approach. I think it will be interesting to see what this park calendar does to his kind of psychology. You know, will not having the pressure of the full season allow him to just relax and go even faster than ever? So I think that's going to be really interesting. But probably more important than that, I think for me, it's going to be really interesting to see what else he does. And I hope, I say this is something I'm looking forward to, but I think it's a hope for this year is that by going off and doing some other things, it gives us something different with him, and it also is an opportunity for rallying to reach a new audience. So, you know, if Kalle goes off and does some more drifting and has more time to do that, that could benefit rallying in the long run. You know, him raising awareness of his personality, and he's doing lots of YouTube videos and things, which is really good. Him doing that could bring new people to rallying. Maybe he'll go off and do some sports car racing or whatever. So, you know, I think it's really disappointing in many ways, of course, that he's not going to be doing the full season. But I think this could be a real opportunity for him to do something different and for us to see a new side to him, a more relaxed side to him, and him doing his, you know, fun YouTube videos. He did one recently of him driving a Yaris rally car to a drive-through, you know, just doing something a bit more fun and hopefully picking up a bit more of an audience and bringing some new people to the WRC and to rallying more generally. So everything crossed for that. I really, really hope that's the case and that I haven't just waffled on for 2 minutes in something that's never going to happen. So that's number 5. Let's move very quickly on to number 4. Yes, number 4 is another driver-related one, and that is the return of Andreas Mikkelsen to a top-line car. I think this is really good news. Mikkelsen has done a fantastic job over the last few seasons. So he's won WRC2 twice in 2021 and 2023. I think he's had some detractors. I think some people have argued that maybe he had his chance. Obviously, he drove with Volkswagen and scored a couple of wins. But also drove the Citroën WRC car under the last regulation cycle, and also had another opportunity with Hyundai, which they kind of went okay. But, you know, he didn't win anything, and I think maybe I'm sure he would even say that it didn't completely go to plan. But I think it's amazing to see him back. I think this season in particular, or last season I should say, he really showed the detractors, for me at least, why he deserves this shot. You know, there were times in the past where, you know, he was all about results, but I think there was a couple of occasions this year where he really showed amazing pace. You know, he had a couple of rallies where things didn't go to plan and he had to recover, and he put in some really stunning performances in speed terms, and I think that shows that he is still, you know, amongst the best drivers outside of the top category. So I think he really deserves that shot. There are, of course, other drivers who deserve a shot as well, but I think it's going to be brilliant. And we have to remember that he is a previous winner. He did win in the Volkswagen, and I would love to see him back on the top of the podium. You know, great guy, great driver. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how he gets on. You know, Hyundai is a very different team to where he was before, or when he was there before, sorry. So I think, yeah, that is a really interesting element. You know, he is being part of that team as a tarmac specialist, which is quite interesting, isn't it? But he is a very good tarmac driver and has won rallies on tarmac. I think it's going to be great, isn't it? It's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on, how he fulfills that role, how many rallies he does. He will be doing Monte Carlo, so I think that is a real opportunity for him to settle into the car. The conditions are unpredictable, aren't they? So there's lots of jeopardy. So it could be an opportunity for him to get a good result, but it's also an opportunity for him to settle in and not be under too much pressure, is there? There won't be too much expectation because it is a bit of a weird event. So that is my number 4. I think it is going to be fascinating to see how he gets on, and I'm really, really pleased to see him back, and I think he could fulfill a really good role for Hyundai. So thumbs up there, thumbs up. So number 3, I was going to say number 3 is a selfish one, but I don't think it is. You know, I am, from a selfish perspective, really pleased about this, but I think it is absolutely on merit and deserves to be on this list. So number 3 is the European Rally Championship coming to the UK. Rally Ceredigion, which is in Wales, a closed road tarmac event, has reached its goal or ambition to be part of the European Championship after, you know, the UK hasn't had an international FIA rally since 2019, or when we lost GB. So to have a UK rally back on the international scene is amazing, and I am so pleased. And I think the team behind the event deserve just huge credit. They should be slapping themselves on the back massively, because they absolutely deserve it. I think the way that they've gone about this event is just so smart, and so it should be an inspiration to anyone else organising a rally, be that in the UK or anywhere. You know, they have shown clear ambition. They've created a good event. This is a good rally with good stages. But I think from the stuff that has impressed me the most is the stuff behind the scenes. You know, it's the embracing the town centre kind of start. It's working with the FIA for environmental recognition. It's being part of the TER series. They've just had a series of steps that have led them to this point. You know, they've been smart, they've engaged with the media in the right way, they're forward looking, and it's paid off. You know, we've got a UK event back in an international championship. Yes, it's not a WRC event, but I don't think we're going to see a UK WRC event for a long time, unfortunately. And I think for Ceredigion to reach this point is amazing, and they deserve huge credit, as I said. And I absolutely can't wait to see the ERC crews tackling a British rally, Welsh tarmac stages. I think it is going to be absolutely fantastic. So that deserves a double thumbs up, and we're only at number 3, which neatly takes us on to number 2. Yes, number 2, and that's a significant number, because number 2 is WRC2. I think this could have been number 1, to be honest. I am super excited for WRC2 this year. It was fantastic last year. I don't want to say it again, but it keeps reminding us why it should be the top category in the WRC, but I'm not going to say any more about that, because I just want to focus on how good it is. You know, with over the last week or so, we've started to get some confirmation of who's doing what. So we know that Sami Payari will be doing a full season, doing the championship in a Yaris Rally 2. We know that Gus Greensmith will be doing the championship in a Skoda Fabia, even though he won't be doing every event. He is limiting his WRC2 campaign to point scoring outings, whichever they may choose. That doesn't include Monte Carlo. Oliver Solberg will be doing it again, and has to be the favourite for the championship, doesn't he? We've got a 3-car Citroen team, because they've got Rossell, as always, and he's now joined by Gryazin and Balagia. It's such a good championship. It is looking like such a good championship this year, and it's just perfect I think the Rally 2 format of kart is perfect for the modern world. I think, you know, we've got a fantastic range of drivers, we've got a lot of manufacturers, you know, even though they're not necessarily full works teams, they're as good as works teams, aren't they? You know, the TalkSport team is as good as the Skoda works team. There's going to be lots of support for the Toyota, obviously, in its first year. The DG Sport Citroens are as close as we're going to get to a Citroen works team. So I think it is absolutely brilliant, and I cannot wait for WRC2. I am almost more excited for WRC2 than I am for the main WRC, and I would be more excited if it wasn't for the thing that I've put at number 1. So yes, we get to the peak of the mountain, the top of the list. Why did I, probably the biggest advocate for ditching Rally 1 in favour of Rally 2, why did I not put WRC2 at the top of my list? And it's simple. There is only one thing I'm more excited about this year in rallying terms than the WRC2 battle, and that is the fact that there is a very, very good chance that in 2024 we will have a new world champion. So, obviously, as I said earlier, Kalle Rovanperä will not be doing the full championship. Sebastian Ogier will not be doing the full championship. So, the main protagonists this year are Elfyn Evans, Thierry Neuville and Ott Tanak. Unless something insane happens, and I think it would have to be quite insane for it not to be one of those 3 drivers. That means that we've got a 2/3 chance. I'm not sure it quite works like that, but it's kind of a 2/3 chance that we will have a new champion. Obviously, Ott Tanak has a very good shot at winning. He is a previous champion. When I did the Pondi's Tash podcast this week, all of us said that we would bet our own money on Ott Tanak, and I understand why we would do that. I think he is probably the favourite. However, there are some things going against him in terms of he's not in an unfamiliar team, but it is a very different Hyundai team, and he has to get used to that, doesn't he? And he has to get used to the car. And you know, while I think Ott Tanak is probably the fastest driver in the championship this year, it isn't always that simple for Tanak. You know, he doesn't consistently deliver. You know, he can have ups and downs, and that is where your Elfyn Evans and your Thierry Neuville can capitalise. I think my second favourite would be Elfyn Evans. I think he has the advantage of being very comfortable in the team. I think Toyota do still marginally have the best car. The thing that does perhaps go against him is the support. He will obviously have Rovanperä and Ogier in that supporting role, and he's got Katsuta as well. So that he, you know, is a strong team, but I think you could argue now that the Hyundai team is stronger. I think there is friction there, though, isn't there? You know, they have 2 drivers who are going to be going for the World Championship, whereas all of the focus for Toyota this year is on Evans. That's a good and a bad thing, isn't it? In a way, it's good because he is the championship contender, and all of the other drivers will give him points if it comes to it. In the Hyundai camp, that could be a bit tricky, especially if Tanak and Neuville are close. But as I said, I think Tanak has to be the favourite, Evans second, Neuville third, but I don't want to write Neuville off because this is probably the best chance he's had for several years. But the fact that we could have a new name on that trophy, I think, is brilliant. I think whether it's Neuville or Evans would be brilliant. You know, they have both been consistently at the sharp end. Evans in particular over the last couple of seasons, but obviously Neuville has had several second places. So I think whoever wins it, you know, whether it's those two or whether it's Tanak, will deserve it. I understand some people will say, oh, well, Calle's not there, so it's not as valuable, and I get that, but you can only beat who's in front of you, and regardless of whether Rovanperä is there, whoever wins will have beaten 2 exceptional drivers to win the championship. You know, to beat Neuville and Tanak, or to beat Evans and Tanak, or to beat Evans and Neuville, or, you know, any permutation, you will have beaten 2 fantastic drivers in 2 very good cars. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see who wins. I don't want to dismiss Tanak, but I do hope that we get a new champion, because I think that would be really great for the series. I think it would be really great for both individuals. So that is my number 1. And I think that is the perfect place to leave this video with a question. Who do you think's going to win? Is it going to be Tanak? Is it going to be Evans? Is it going to be Neuville? Do let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. As I said, for me, I think it's probably Tanak just, closely followed by Evans and Neuville. It is very, very difficult to call, and I think it could end up being kind of a swing ding-dong battle. So that will be good for us as viewers. So I think we'll leave it there for this week. I do hope you've enjoyed this little look at 2024. As I said right at the top, if you have thoughts, if there's anything you're looking forward to, do let me know in the comments below. I should hopefully have some big news for you in the next vlog, but I'm going to keep that a secret until next week. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter or X, or whatever the madman's calling it. I can't get used to X, sorry. Threads and TikTok and all of that stuff. The links are in the description. And I will see you again in the next episode.